So in the last class, we have discussed the force on a wire, okay? The force on a straight wire as well as on the curved wire due to the magnetic field, okay? When it is present in the external magnetic field. So what is the force experienced by the straight wire and what is the force experienced by the curved wire, okay, if they are carrying a current I. So we have discussed both the cases and we have seen few examples also, okay? We had seen few examples also. And in example D and E, okay, if you can see on the screen, in example D and E, we had a loop, okay, in both the cases. In D, we had a circular loop. In example E, we are having a rectangular loop. So we have seen that magnetic force in both the cases, okay, magnetic force in both the cases is zero. In both the cases, the magnetic force is zero. Fine. So we had written a statement, okay, or we can say one thing about this now, that for any loop, okay, for any loop, okay, if it is kept in a uniform magnetic field, okay, for any loop, if kept in, okay, kept in uniform magnetic field, understand like that, okay, not in any field, not in any field. So the field should be uniform, okay, for any loop if kept in uniform magnetic field, okay, then the net magnetic force on that loop will be zero, okay. So we have seen this also, that we have analyzed, okay, that case, that how actually this is zero. So section by section, part by part, we had seen and we had calculated force and we had added them, okay. And we had found that the magnetic force on wire AB and wire CD, okay, on wire AB and on wire CD, the magnetic force is zero. Why? Because the L vector, okay, the L vector is along the magnetic field. The L vector is along the magnetic field, and so the magnetic field is magnetic force is zero over here. But for BC, but for this BC and for AD, for these two, for this one and for this one, okay, we are not having a magnetic field zero. We are having the values. We are having the values, okay. So for BC, we have calculated here. For BC, we have calculated here. And for DA, we have calculated here. Okay, for DA, we have calculated here. Fine. So these are the two values, okay. Now, if you can see, the net force is zero because one force is in plus K direction and another force is towards the minus K direction. So it becomes zero. But what will happen to the torque? Will there be a torque over here? Yes, because I'm having two equal and opposite forces, so there will be a couple, okay. So two equal and opposite forces will give you a couple, okay. So that's a torque only, okay. If I take a axis and if I multiply by the length, okay, the perpendicular distance between the two forces, so I'll get that as a torque, okay. So two equal and opposite forces gives us torque or couple, understood now. So here what we are going to see now, we are going to study here the magnetic force and torque on a current carrying loop in a uniform magnetic field, okay. We are going to see magnetic force and torque due to current carrying loop in a uniform magnetic field. So here I have drawn a figure, okay, where you are having a B external, that is external magnetic field is there, and in that external magnetic field we have a loop. ABCD is the loop, and in red color I have shown you the current direction. In red color I have shown you the current direction. So this is the direction of the current. This is the direction of current, okay. So current flows in a clockwise direction. So quickly tell me, what is the magnitude of force? What is the value of magnetic force here? Magnetic force here will be what? magnetic force Fm will be what? 0. Magnetic force will be 0 here. We have already seen, because for a loop kept in a uniform magnetic field, this is a uniform magnetic field, so the magnetic force has to be 0. Okay, we have already seen that. Okay, now on part DA and on part BC, correct, on part DA and on part BC, what will be the direction of magnetic forces? Okay, so here on DA, if you see, on DA, if you calculate, okay, so you will get a field inside, sorry, the force inside. Okay, and if you see here on BC, okay, if you see in BC, so it will be dot, it will be dot like this. Understood? So on AD it will be downward, and on BC it will be upward, and the magnitude will be what? The magnitude will be BIL. So if you want to see here, if you want to visualize this, okay, if you want to visualize this, so it will be somewhat like this. Just try to understand, see here. Okay, if this is the loop, okay, so what will happen? This end will go up, okay, fine, and this end would be going down. Understood? Like this it will move. So this is happening over here. Okay, this is happening over here. Sorry, this must go up as per the figure. Okay, as per the figure, this will go up. As per the figure, this should go up. Okay, and this should go down, and this should go down. Understood? So what will happen? This will rotate. How it will rotate? How it will rotate? It will rotate like this. It will rotate like this. Understood? Fine. So this torque will be there. Due to these two forces, there will be a torque now. Due to these two forces, we will have a torque now. We will have a torque now. Okay. So I'm writing over here force on DA. Okay. So force on DA. What will be the force? The force will be BIL. L is the length of DA. Okay, and where it is going? Where it is going? It is going down into the plane. Okay, into the plane. Into the plane. Fine, into the plane. Similarly, force on BC. Force on BC wire. Okay, what is the force now? It is BIL. Okay, where it is going? Outward to the plane. So out of the plane. Understood? Now, due to these forces, what will happen now? Due to these forces, what is going to happen? There will be a torque now. Okay, there will be a torque now. Okay, so we can say that the net magnetic force in a uniform magnetic field for a loop is 0, but it can have a torque. Okay, so these two forces generate torque. Okay, generate torque. Now this torque value we are going to calculate now. This torque value we have to calculate now. Okay, so we have to calculate this torque value now. Understood? We have to calculate this torque value. So just see here, how do we calculate torque now? What is the formula for torque? Yes, what is the formula for torque now? So torque is always given as force into distance. Okay, distance. So this is what you people would have understood, that torque is equals to force into distance. Now the most of the students will be confused that which distance. the distance from what you have to take, okay? Because distance you have to take, no? So from where to where you have to come take the distance, okay? So here in this case, a force will, the torque, when you calculate the torque, so the distance in that case will be taken, the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the forces. The perpendicular distance between the line of action of the forces, okay? So it is perpendicular distance, okay? So don't only remember as a force into distance. You have to understand which distance you should take, okay? Not every distance you can substitute in this here, okay? So for calculating torque, you have to multiply force, okay? Any one value of force, okay? Any one value of the force you can take, because this is a couple, so any one force you can take. So force into distance, okay? Force into distance, perpendicular distance between the line of action, okay? Line of action of force. So line of action of force is what? This is going along upward, this is going into, and this is going up. So what is the distance between them? This is the distance. This is the distance. This is the perpendicular distance. This will be the perpendicular distance. Fine. Now, if this is the perpendicular distance, so what is that distance? Is it given to me? Just see here in the figure. I'll call this figure. Yes, just see this figure and try to see what is that perpendicular distance. What is that perpendicular distance? Yes, is it B over here? Is it B over here? Yes. So magnetic force I can write as Fm, magnetic force, into B, correct? Into B. Now what is the value of magnetic force here? What is the value of magnetic force here? So the magnetic force value is BIL into small b, okay? So this becomes what? Bi into L into A, L into B. Now you just see here, I'm just consider this loop here, just consider this loop over here, okay? Just consider this loop over here. What is BA? What is B into L? What is B into L? Yes, what is B into L? Is it the area of the loop? Yes. L into B, is it the area of loop? Yes, it is the area of the loop. So L into B I can write as area of the loop. So I will write it as capital A, where A is the area of the loop, okay? So this torque now, this torque becomes BIL into B. LB is nothing but area. So BI into A. So this is equation number 1. This is my equation number 1. Okay, this is the equation number 1. Now, just see here, this torque is a vector quantity. So I should find out in this expression, what is a vector here? Because torque is a vector quantity. So on right hand side also, I should be having the cross product of two vectors. Because this torque is a vector quantity. So how will I write it now? See, I is a scalar quantity we have studied, okay? If you remember in electrostatics, area you have considered as the vector quantity. Area was a vector over there also, okay? So here also I'm considering area as a vector quantity, and magnetic field is already a vector quantity. So torque can be given as I within bracket A cross B vector. A vector cross B vector, okay? A cross B vector. This is what I can write now. This is what we can write it, okay? So this is the expression for the torque in vector form. And if you want to calculate the direction, okay, you can calculate using the vector. Okay, you can calculate using the vector concept, okay, as well as right hand thumb rule also. Okay, so that I'm not going into that, all those things, how to calculate the direction of the cross using the cross products and all. Okay, so this is the equation number 2 now. This is the equation number 2 now. Okay, so here actually I want to discuss what is the direction of area vector, because magnetic field vector will be given to you. Magnetic field is external vector, so it will be given to you. But what will be the direction of area vector? What will be the direction of area vector in magnetism? In electrostatics, what was the direction? It was always perpendicular to the magnetic area. It was always perpendicular to the area. Okay, here also it will be perpendicular to the area only. Okay, but it must be taken in the sense of current. It must be taken in the sense of current. Okay, so how will you calculate the direction of area vector? Okay, so direction of area vector. Okay, direction of area vector. So this is what we are going to see now. This is a very important thing. This is a very important thing. So just see here how you will calculate the direction of area vector. So using right hand thumb rule, we will do that. Right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. Okay, so what you will do now, just see here, you have to curl your fingers in the sense of current. Okay, you are supposed to curl the fingers. You're supposed to curl the fingers. Okay, you're supposed to curl the finger in the sense of current. Okay, so here in this case, the direction of current is clockwise. Okay, so you just curl the fingers in the direction of current. Just curl the fingers in the direction of current. Okay, then the thumb will give the direction of, give the direction of area vector. Okay, it will give you the direction of area vector. This is very, very important thing. This is a very, very important thing. Okay, very, very important. Okay, this is very, very important concept. Okay, you have to, how you will find out the direction of area vector, because if you are asked to calculate the torque, okay, and the current will be given to you, the direction of area vector, remember, will not be given to you. Direction of the current will be given to you, a direction of area vector will not be given to you. And if they are asking you the direction of torque, so from the direction of flow of current, you will calculate the direction of area vector, and then magnetic field vector will be given to you, and then you will calculate the torque, okay, and the direction of the torque. So remember that thing. Okay, don't do any mistake here. Okay, so this was all about the torque now. This was all about the torque now. Okay, now suppose if instead of one coil, here I'm having only one coil. Suppose if I'm having n number of coils or n number of turns. Okay, if I'm having n number of turns, so what we are going to do, we'll be just multiplying this complete equation, this complete torque by n. Okay, well, if I'm having n number of turns, this is for one turn. Suppose if I'm having 100 coils, having 100 coils, so for 100 coils, the torque will be 100 times. The torque will become 100 times. Okay, so if we have n number of turns, so n number of turns in coil. Okay, so what we are going to do now, so torque will become I into n A cross B. Understood? It will become I into n A cross B. So this is our equation number. This was equation number 2. So this is equation number 2B. Okay. So this is also a very important result. This is also a very important result. Okay, for n turns it is there. So if for one coil, okay, for one coil, okay, if torque is 10 Newton meter, so for 5 coils, torque will become how much? 5 into 10. Okay, so it becomes 50 now. This is not everywhere. This is not everywhere. Here only I'm telling you. Okay, don't use the same thing in mechanics. Okay, you will not be having their coil and all. Okay, you will not be having coil over there. Okay, so this is only valid here. I'm not telling with respect to that 11th class book 1 you would have studied all the mechanics portions and all. Okay, so for that I'm not doing that. Okay, for this I'm only telling you. Okay, now so here we have only seen when this magnetic field is just going simply through the coil. Okay, suppose the orientation of the coil changes, so what will happen to the torque? Okay, what will happen to the force now? Okay, so suppose if we are having the magnetic field is still like that. Okay, if I'm having the magnetic field is still like that. Okay, still my magnetic field is like this, and the orientation now changes. The orientation of the coil is now changes. So how it is now? So it is somewhat like this. So it is somewhat like this now. Okay, can you understand this? Okay, so I'll try to draw the 3D figure. So it is here, and this is the figure. So this is the coil now. Okay, this is the coil. Okay, and current moves same way. This is A, this is B, C, and this is D. Okay, it is like that. It is like that. Okay, and you have coils like that. You have coils like that. Okay, you have coils like that. Understood? So now what is the direction of area vector? So what you will do, you will just see the sense of current. So current moves in this direction. Current moves in this direction. Okay, so just rotate your finger in the direction of current. Okay, so you will see that the area vector from this point will be directed towards like this. It will be directed towards like this. Okay, so with the magnetic field, okay, it is making an angle theta. Understood? It is making an angle theta with the magnetic field here. So do you understand this? It is making an angle theta with the magnetic field. Just see this. I'm zooming it. Just see this. It is making an angle with the magnetic field as theta. Fine. Okay. So this is my area vector. Here. This is magnetic field over here. And the theta is the angle between it. Now, if you see the force on this side, it was cross. And if you see the force on this side, it was dot. Okay. So now you have to take the perpendicular distance between the forces. So the perpendicular force is how much? How is the perpendicular force? This is the perpendicular force. Okay. This is the perpendicular force. Understood? This line is the perpendicular force. This is the perpendicular force. Do you understand? So this is x now. How will I calculate that x? How will I calculate that x now? Okay. So just see here, if this is theta, okay, I'm trying to make a different figure, okay, so that you can understand in a better way. So suppose this is the coil, okay, this is area vector, and this is magnetic field. This is magnetic field, okay, and this is area vector. Angle between them is theta. Angle between them is theta. Now, if this is theta, if this angle is theta, okay, so can you tell me what is this angle? Yes, what is this angle? This angle over here, this will be 90 minus theta. This will be 90 minus theta. And if this is 90 minus theta, if this is 90 minus theta, okay, so what will be this angle? This angle will be theta. Okay, this angle will be theta. So this side, just see here, this side is B. This side is B. This side is B. Okay, if that is B, so what will be this now? What will be this length? What will be this length? This will be B sine theta. This will become B sine theta. Okay, this length will become B sine theta. Fine, this length will become B sine of theta. Now, what is torque? Torque is this magnetic force, okay, into magnetic force into perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance. Now, force value is BIL, it does not changes, but the perpendicular distance is now B sine theta. Instead of B, it is now B sine theta. It is B sine theta. Now, what was L into B? What was L into B? L into B was the area. So BIA sine of theta. BIA into sine of theta. For n turns. For n turns. For n turns, torque will become what? What will torque become? B I N A. Okay, sine theta. This is what you'll be having. Okay, I can rewrite it as I N. Okay, A vector cross B vector. Okay, and this is in the form of vector. This is in the form of vector now. Do you understand? Now A into B will give me the sine theta. Do you remember here? We had got, if you expand this, so what you'll get? INAB sine theta. So just see here, we have here also we have got. Okay. Now this quantity over here, okay, I, N and A. This quantity, okay, this quantity over here is considered as M. I'm taking as M cross B now. So this implies I have assumed IN into A vector as M vector. So what is this now? What is this? This is called as magnetic moment. This is called as magnetic moment. Okay. You had studied about the dipole moment. You had studied about the dipole moment. So in magnetism, we have magnetic moment. Okay. In magnetism, we have magnetic moment. And the magnetic moment for a loop is given as INA. This is a very important thing. Okay, don't think that this is just a very trivial thing. No, it is a very, very important physical quantity that will be using so many times. Okay, that will be using so many times. So you have to remember that what is magnetic moment and what is its direction. So if you see here, the magnetic moment, how I have written, how did I write magnetic moment? I have written magnetic moment as IN and into A vector. So this implies direction of magnetic moment. What will be the direction? Direction of magnetic moment. Direction of magnetic moment. What it will be? Yes, it will be along what? It will be along a vector only. It will be along a vector only. So the way you have found out, the way you had calculated the direction of a vector, the way you had calculated the direction of a vector, in the same way you will calculate the direction of m vector also. In the same way you will calculate the direction of m vector also. Okay, so this is all about the torque and the magnetic moment. Okay, so the magnetic moment depends upon the current. Magnetic moment of a coil depends upon the number of turns. Magnetic moment depends upon the area vector. Okay, it is independent of magnetic field. Remember that magnetic moment is independent of the magnetic field. Okay, so since the word magnetic is coming, don't understand that magnetic moment will depend upon magnetic field. It is independent of magnetic field. Okay, it is independent. It is independent of B vector. It is independent of the B vector. Okay, it is independent of the B vector. So I hope you have understood this. I hope you have understood this concept. Yes, fine. So after this, we are going to study moving coil galvanometer. Okay, we are going to see moving coil galvanometer now. Okay, moving coil galvanometer. So galvanometer we have already seen in the current electricity. Okay, so if you open the NCERT book, okay, so moving coil galvanometer, the conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter, conversion of galvanometer into ammeter is not given in the chapter number 3 in NCERT, but I had taught you there because I was teaching you this potentiometer. Okay, so all those things are device related things, so I had taught you there itself. Okay, moving coil galvanometer, without magnetic field concept and without torque concept I could not teach you, so I'm taking it here. Okay, and if you see NCERT book, so moving coil galvanometer, conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter and conversion of galvanometer into ammeter is here itself. Okay, but I had taken that in current electricity. Okay, I had taken that in current electricity because without knowing all these things also we were able to do that. Okay, with only the concepts of current electricity we were able to convert the galvanometer into voltmeter and galvanometer into ammeter. We were not required any concept of magnetic field over there. Understood? So that's why I taught you there. Okay, this moving coil galvanometer I cannot teach you without teaching the magnetic field, without teaching magnetic moment and the torque. So we are studying here. But if you see NCERT, it is at the same place, chapter number 4. Okay, so we're going to start the moving coil galvanometer now. Okay, the conversion and all we had already seen. Now we will see what is there inside the galvanometer. What is there inside the galvanometer, which shows you the deflection. How it shows the deflection, how if I pass the current, what happens inside that it deflects. We are going to see all those things. Okay, we are going to see all those things. So this moving coil galvanometer can be asked to you in 3 marks in board, or if you are very lucky, 3 marks will be allotted for theory and 2 marks will be allotted for the numerical. Okay, so they can ask you for 3 marks also, they can ask you for 5 marks also, they can ask you even in 2 marks, they can even ask you in the 2 marks, and they can ask you the principle. Understood? They can ask you the principle, and one more term is there, sensitivity of galvanometer. Okay, sensitivity of the galvanometer they can also ask you. So this moving coil galvanometer is important for the purpose of board also. It is important for the board also. Okay, as well as it is important for NEET also. Okay, if anybody is preparing for JEE, so that this is important for that also. Okay, so what I'm trying to say that this topic, this moving coil galvanometer, is a very important topic, and never leave this topic when you go to any exam. Okay, never leave this topic. Conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter, conversion of galvanometer into ammeter, and about this moving coil galvanometer. Okay, so this is a very important topic. This is a very, very important topic. Okay. So what is galvanometer? What was galvanometer? What was the function of galvanometer? Okay, we have already seen all those things, that the galvanometer is used to measure the current in the circuit, or it is used to obtain the null deflection in the circuit. Okay, in meter bridge and in potentiometer, what you were doing using galvanometer, we were obtaining the null deflection. Okay, so what I can say that it is used to measure the current. Okay, used to measure current. Okay, a small current, better I should write as a small current. Okay, to measure is small current, is small current. Okay, and it was used to get the null deflection. Okay, used to get null deflection, used to get the null deflection. It is used to get the null deflection. Okay, now what is the principle? Okay, what is the principle? See, the way I'm writing, suppose it comes, if it comes in the 3 marks and they are asking you that explain moving coil galvanometer. Okay, so the way I'm writing, you are expected to write in the same way in exam. Okay, so you have to write down 1 or 2 points about the galvanometer, that why it is used. Okay, what is the purpose? Okay, what it is actually. Then you will write the principle. Okay, so any instrument if you get, okay, any instrument if you are getting in the exam, you will write its principle. Okay, principle is the most important thing. Okay, the principle is most important thing, and you should not forget to write that. Fine. So what is the principle of it? So the principle is that the torque is experienced by a coil when kept in a magnetic field. Okay, so a current carrying coil. So what is the principle? A current carrying coil, a current carrying coil, okay, experiences.
Hello, excuse sir.
Yes sir.
Sir, small information sir for students. Just one.
Okay.
For 1 minute, please give me permission sir.
What sir?
Sir, a small information sir for students sir. Give me permission for 1 minute sir.
Okay sir, okay, no problem sir.
Dear students, listen. நாளையிலேருந்து நம்ம ஜூம்ல இருந்து செக்யூரிட்டி பர்பஸ்க்காக வந்து நம்ம உங்களுக்கு இண்டிவிஜுவலா உங்களுக்கு லேனிட்டியில உங்களுக்கு லாகின் ஐடி பாஸ்வேர்ட் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்கல்ல, அதுலேயே நீங்க லாகின் பண்ணிட்டு உங்களுக்கு ஜூமோட லிங்க் அதுல போஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. அதை நீங்க வந்து கிளிக் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க உள்ள வரலாம். அந்த செக்யூரிட்டி பர்பஸ்க்காக பண்ணியிருக்கோம். இனிமேல நாளையிலேருந்து அது அப்படிதான் வரும். தினமும் லேனிட்டியில லாகின் பண்ணி அதுல லிங்க் மூலமா உள்ள வரலாம். சரிங்களா? சரிங்க சார். ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Okay sir, okay. So what is the principle of the moving coil galvanometer? It is a current carrying coil. Okay, a current carrying coil experiences torque in a uniform magnetic field, experiences torque in a magnetic field. Okay, in magnetic field. So this is the principle, the basic principle. Okay, now the next important thing will be its setup. The next important thing will be its setup. So setup is this, just see here, this is the setup. Okay, so here you can see the 2 magnets. Okay, these are the 2 magnets. So this is one magnet and this is the another magnet. So these are the 2 magnets. Fine. This is a coil. Okay, This red color structure, if you can see, okay, so this is the coil. This is the coil. Understood? This is the coil. This structure, this cylindrical structure, if you can see, so this is a core. Okay, this is a core, soft iron core, in order to enhance the magnetic field. Okay, this is needle. This is pointer or needle. Okay, if you can see a structure here, over here, okay, can you see this shape over here, this shape over here? Can you all see this? Yes, and it is connected to this. See it again. Is it there? Yes. Can you see this structure here? It is like this. Okay, so this is a spiral spring. Okay, this is a spiral spring. Okay, the coil is actually this. The coil is this one. This one is coil. Okay, this is coil. This is coil, and this is spiral spring. Spiral spring. So if anybody is not able to understand what is a spiral spring or how does it looks like, so these springs are there in the toys. Okay, in toys it is there. It is there in wrist watches. Okay, so if anybody would have seen the machines inside the watch, okay, you would have seen a spring like this. A small spring like this. Correct? So that is a spiral spring. That is a spiral spring in that. That is a spiral spring. So this is the setup now. So you don't have to draw this setup. Okay, just for better understanding, I have taken a diagram. Okay, but you don't have to draw this diagram. Okay, in exam, you will be drawing a simple diagram that I will show you. At the end. That what diagram you have to draw. Okay, but for now you just understand with this. Okay, because it is better to understand with this diagram. So you have understood the setup now. Okay, now just see here. What will happen now? See this. There will be a magnetic field. So if you can see, the magnets are like this. See here, the magnets are like this. They are curved in shape. Okay, so they are like that. So if they're curved in shape, so the magnetic fields will be like this. The magnetic fields will be like this. Yes or no? The magnetic fields will be like this, and it will pass through it like that. Okay, it will pass through it like that. It will pass through it like this. Okay, can you visualize it now? It will pass through it like that. So this kind of field is called as crossed field. Okay, understood? Now, so now what happens? Due to this magnetic field, what will happen now? There will be a torque. Okay, there will be a torque on this coil. So if there is a torque on this coil, so what will happen? A situation like this will happen. You will have a situation somewhat like this. Okay, where you will be having a force, in upward and downward direction, and due to the opposite forces, you will be having degree always. Okay, this value is not. Now, this is the direction of the current. Okay, this is the direction of current. So it is bending slightly. It is bending. An angle with the nine perpendicular. Okay. Okay. Now for this magnetic moment, you will have a you will have a magnetic field like this, because how this magnet will produce a magnetic field? How will how will this magnetic field will be generated? How will this magnetic field will be generated? Yes, it will be generated like this. It will be generated like this, in this way. It will be generated like this. Okay, so it will be always perpendicular now. It will be always perpendicular now. Okay, it will be always perpendicular now. Fine. So here also if you see, it is perpendicular only. Okay, so it doesn't matter irrespective of the orientation of the coil. Okay, irrespective of the orientation of the coil. Okay, the magnetic field will always be perpendicular to the magnetic moment. Okay, if of the orientation, irrespective of the orientation of coil. Okay, m vector is always perpendicular to the magnetic field. It is always perpendicular to the here. So we have discussed till now in galvanometer. We have seen the torque. So this kind of field over here. Okay, this field is only cross the field. Okay, this is only cross the field. Understood? This kind of field is only called as field here. Okay, what is the advantage? At the end we will see why we are using the cross the field. We will see again. Okay, actually the advantage is this. So we have studied up to here. Okay, so remaining portions will be doing in the next class. Okay, we don't have that much of time. I have to give you the next also. And okay, and in the next class